Welcome to Peeking Over the Fence, a podcast where we share real stories of healing and hope. We are your hosts, Missy and Karen, and we're so glad you're here. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Missy.
So we are on episode 8 already. I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either.
We have a first guest.
I can't believe that we've had our first guest. I can't believe how many people are watching.
Yes.
To be in the hundreds at this stage apparently is really good.
Right. And honestly, it's so funny because we both have talked about this. It's not about numbers. It's not trying to get to a certain level. We just want to keep doing this to share information, to help people and to connect with people. That's it. Like that's
Well,
all.
and it's a miracle. And let's be honest, we going into every podcast, we're like, all right, we're just like Laura said, just jumping in.
Right.
And somehow there are things that resonate with people.
Right.
And I don't know. So just, thank you, God,
Right.
for using us and giving us what we need. And and we'll just keep going until
Right. And
until
it's
he
so,
says
and
stop.
I'll be real honest. Like, I mean, we have been in like Facebook groups for podcasters, and we're both looking at each other like, are we supposed to be doing that? Are we supposed to be? I mean, we just got microphones, we feel like we're professionals because we have
I have a
microphones.
light now. Tim was like, you could really use a light.
I love it.
So I have a light. And then when
Right.
he watched the podcast, he's like, you need to move it to the, I was like, look,
We're not going there yet.
I'm like, I can't. This is the best I can do. If you want to come be the
Right.
director of the or the whatever,
So
the stage
I'll have to
person.
take a picture of where I'm at. But when we built this house, we built in this little office off of Cassie's room, so she could work from home when she's here. And so I'm in this room, and there. You can see there's nothing on the walls. I have no plants. I have nothing. So
I
I'm
know, I
like,
like how you complimented my background, which
I love it.
Tim also was like, because I was like in my living room, I was in front of the
Right.
tree, and he's like, you should do it in that corner. So this is like,
I'm gonna have to
thankfully,
get some decorating tips from Tim.
I know, thankfully, I have a boyfriend who has an eye for,
I love it.
I don't know, see Jesus back there.
I love it.
Yep.
So I have a picture that I want to put up, but Ben always says it looks like Jesus is about to tackle the lamb. And I'll
I
have
know
to
which
post a
one you're talking
picture.
about.
And he's like, Mom, that is like the weirdest picture, but I love it.
You're like, he's saving the one.
Saving the one.
He's
That's me.
saving the
I'm
one.
saving Liam. He's like, Mom. But I do need to get like a little plant and something going on. And honestly, like my computer that I'm using is probably like 15 years old. I don't even know. I can't even believe it's still working. But we'll get there. We'll get
You know
there.
what? Honestly, I think that it's proof that it's kind of about the content. Like, it doesn't really matter how,
Right.
what any
How
of this looks
fancy.
like. It doesn't matter that I'm bouncy or that, and when you're talking, sometimes I'm like I have to stop watching myself because it's
Right.
like, and clearly no one cares about that.
Right.
Right.
Well,
So
like I said, like we look back at ourselves and we're looking at we're like, do we really look like that? But that's what everybody that knows us sees. And apparently they still like us. So yeah, I mean, I just this has been so fun and it's been therapeutic for me as well because I feel like I'm talking about things that I have been quietly living for
yes.
years and so but I feel like it's also there's so many people that are living the same thing or have lived the same thing. And so God made it very clear we're supposed to share our story. So we appreciate everyone that is along for this crazy ride that we're on. And we're just having fun and doing what God tells us to do. Because every single week, it's like, okay, this is
Missy's eye,
going on.
both of us had eye issues this week.
Right.
My eye, this is my first day with contacts in since I don't know when.
Right. I
Monday,
mean, my eye
Monday.
was swollen. I was breaking out in a rash again, and all these things are happening, and I'm like, what in the world's going
And we're
on?
like, are we record? Are we recording? And we're gonna be, this puts us a week ahead.
Right.
So we're gonna have like one in the, we'll see how it goes.
Right. We're just recording when we can and praying that, that it all works out. But
It will.
so last week we recorded with Laura, which was such a great conversation.
Yes.
I mean, and now what we're doing right now is we're going to have a conversation about your career, and it kind of piggybacks off of what Laura was talking about. And I'm so excited to like dig in deeper to what you do because I find it so fascinating. I wish we lived closer so we could work together. And honestly, I know that that's going to happen. Like I know that we're
That we're
getting
gonna live closer together.
well, we're going to live closer together, but also we're going to work together too on this.
Oh, no,
Um,
I agree.
so, Karen, tell
Yes.
me a little bit about, or tell me as much as you want about what you do and like explain what it is nutrition response
Response testing.
testing. I want to say therapy, but it's testing.
Yep.
So like tell everybody what it is, what it is that
Sure.
you do.
So there's a big scientific explanation, but I have broken, this is what I tell my new clients or when I'm um, introducing someone to it at the first time
Right.
is the definition is nutrition response testing is a non-invasive way to test the body to see what it needs to function optimally and to heal. So I work with the nervous system. I touch nerves that are attached to glands and organs. I press on your arm. The way your arm responds is giving me information. So, so like 1 minute, so I go through the body. Your arm, you'll feel really, really strong. And then when I get to a gland or organ that's weak, your arm will give. And it feels really weird, like when it's happening, because what you're like, I got it. And then it's like, what the heck, right? And I love doing kids. I love kids because they will laugh, because
Right.
it's so I'll go through the body. Let's say I'm testing you and it's your left lung, your spleen, and your right adrenal gland that show up that are what we call stress, right?
Mm.
So then your body will actually direct me to the priority. And then I have frequencies of like food sensitivities, of immune challenges, of heavy metals, chemicals, of post-pandemic, or even scars can cause issues.
Mhm.
So let's say the priority was your lung, and the frequency that you matched was a bacteria. So I'm going to pull all of my remedies for that bacteria. If I were to put them on your body one at a time, your body is going to match that frequency because it needs something. But if I line them up within 2 feet of your body will actually pick the best one for your body.
That's
So
awesome.
it's fat. I never get bored at work. I get tired, but I don't get bored.
Right. So
Right.
I
And
feel
then
like it's kind of where you have people who like Laura that come into you. Is it a lot of patients who have had chronic illnesses or chronic health issues?
I mean, it's really everybody. I mean, I
Everybody.
have clients who are perfectly healthy that
Right.
they want to stay that way. They want to um the other thing I do is balance the gut, right?
Right.
Like to see if you need a probiotic or digestive enzyme. And here's the thing is that if you can really mess your body up by having the wrong probiotic, right?
Yes.
Like it's very important that you're doing what your body needs,
Right.
or a digestive enzyme, or like any of those things. So
Right.
the body will actually, when it working with the nervous system and I put something on the body, the arm will go strong if your body, if that's good for your body, or it will go weak. So
Right.
I'll have clients that come in with really, really good supplements and they won't test for any of them,
Mm,
right? Because they've read, this is for this is for that, and then
right.
it's actually harming them.
Right.
There are like, I'm going to be really careful. I'm not going to like get into specific supplements or anything like that, but there are some that when you get on Instagram or TikTok and they're like, everybody needs to take this. Well,
Right.
no, they don't. And it can actually work against you.
Right.
So it's, yeah.
Yeah, everybody's individual. And I learned this the hard way because when my health issues started, and I will say this, I believe in I believe in mainstream medicine. It has a place. It
Oh,
has,
I'm
like
never going to say don't go see your doctor.
absolutely.
Hmm.
I know that when my health issues started, I was given a lot of medications to treat symptoms. And so I feel like if I started doing muscle testing or seeing someone that looks at the root causes of things, it would have saved me a lot of time and money because it would have been giving me, I would have been getting the things that my body was lacking versus just trying to throw, it's sometimes it's throwing oil on the fire and it's not really getting the inflammation down or treating the symptom or giving your body what it needs. Sometimes it's just putting a band-aid on the problem.
Right. And one of the many things, the many, many things that I love about nutrition response testing
Hmm.
is that I can have 5 clients come through my door with the same exact symptoms, but test completely different.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Like there's always a root cause. And I'm gonna go on a limb and I'm gonna say like eczema.
Right, right, right.
Like eczema, there's always a root cause, right?
Hmm.
We need to make sure your bowels are moving so they're not reabsorbing toxins. That's a big thing with rashes.
Right,
We need to make sure that the liver pathways are open
right.
because that's another big thing with rashes. And then there's usually some stressor that's causing it. And I remember like my first year of doing nutrition response testing, having my background in nursing, I had I had these notions in my mind of what we could do and not do, right? And so I remember I had this one client and she had eczema up and down her arm, like horrible. It was summertime. She was wearing long sleeves, right?
That's awful.
And by the time we were finished, she was able to be sleeveless and I was like, "How are you?" And she's like, I'm feeling better." And then I'm like, "You are?"
Right. Like, oh
Because
my
it was
God,
my
it
first
worked.
experience, right? My first
Right.
experience, the first year there was a lot of things that felt miraculous.
Mhm.
But really there's a bunch of us trained all over the United States and we all do the same thing. So
Right.
it's very rewarding work.
Right. And I think just another thing about supplements and getting them and just buying them off of, wherever. We just had this conversation about another supplement, but like just say for on Amazon, for instance, if the company does not have a storefront on Amazon, you could be buying it from whoever. If you
We've
really could,
had that with our
right?
supplements where someone has gotten something off of Amazon, something that we carry, and they've gotten it off. Can we say that?
Yeah,
Too
we
late.
can. It's
So
great. I mean,
too late.
but we can say that to be careful where you get your supplements
Yes.
from
And
because that matters.
right. And so they were not going in the right direction. And then come to find out that's what
Yeah,
happened. And
right,
putting the supplement on them, their arm, I don't even know it was in the bottle.
right.
Like it wasn't
So,
that free. maybe it sat in the car in the heat. Maybe it
Right.
wasn't even the same supplement. Maybe
Right.
who knows, but the integrity was compromised.
Yes. So I say that because for two reasons that if you're not buying from a reputable company or getting them through a, a clinic or something like that that is certified to sell them, you could be getting something that is not what it says it is. Also, when you buy things just because you may have this symptom or you may not, you're playing a guessing game and you're spending money. I did it for years. Like I'm like, oh, I need, this person is an expert on Instagram and they don't
Hmm.
know my body. And I had to work with my regular doctor and my functional doctor and tune everything else out because there's so much information out there. And like you said, every single body is different. And like, my eczema that I have is coming from a different place. Like, I had it when I had mold illness. This time was a reaction to medication
Hmm.
and stress, right? So
Hmm.
it's like you could sit here and play guessing games all day long and then throw hundreds of $1,000s out the window. But what nutrition response testing does, it takes the guesswork out
Hmm.
of all of that and it
Hmm.
tells you what your body is lacking.
Hmm.
And then when you give your body what it's lacking, t 9 times out of 10, things start moving properly, right?
Hmm. Oh, right. Yeah. And I always tell my clients, we're looking at progress, not perfection. The
Right.
diet is a big part, and
Mm,
the folks will say, "How long is this going to take?" Well, like if you're eating a ton of sugar,
right.
or and processed foods and things like that, the I mean it's not really helpful. But I
Right.
say progress, not perfection. Like I don't expect to see somebody and them come see me back in 2 weeks and their diet be completely
Right.
clean. That's another reason why I really love having Laura in the office, because she can break down, she helps manage clients individually as far as eating goes.
Right.
And so when you can get those two pieces together, it it, things do move along quicker, and you heal faster.
So that is another thing I think is so important because we live in a world where we all want a quick fix. And if you grew up in the 80s and you grew up, with the fad diets and this, take this
Tab. Yeah.
magic pill, maybe, yeah, like take this and take that, and you're going to lose weight really quickly. The difference, okay, the difference with that, what all that does is, yes, that you lose weight, but what does it do internally to you? Okay, to your digestive organs, your kidneys, your
Hmm.
liver, your gallbladder, all these things. But, and I'll say this because this is how I used to be. And I believe that God has taught me patience through all of these health issues, is that there is no quick fix. And a lot of people run from this type of healing and treatment because it can take time. But what takes time in whatever that means. I mean, it could take weeks or months or whatever to see some progress. You're undoing years of the damage that you did to your body, right?
Right.
And you don't beat yourself up for the things that you didn't know. A lot of people didn't know all the ultra processed foods and all these things and the
Oh yeah. I'm surprised my girls are alive that are in
right,
their 30s now. I mean, and I tell my clients that with their little kids, I'm like, look, they had Lunchables, they had, we went to grandmom and pops, and I mean, well, I grew up in all that secondhand smoke. They had all the sugar cereal, all the
right.
like you name it,
Right.
Slurpees. We did it McDonald's. I
Right.
mean, we did it all. So I mean,
Yeah.
and they're, they figured it out on their own.
Right.
But yeah, when you don't know, you don't.
Right.
Um, and I mean, I was a nurse. I was a nurse having these terrible headaches, and I would treat myself to one Big Mac a week. And then,
Right.
and then, because I was like, I love Big Mac, I was no shame.
Right.
And then I stopped eating them, and then I was like, I think I'm gonna have a Big Mac. And guess what? I was like, I haven't had a headache like this. And then I
Right.
was like, I made the connection, like, oh, it's the.
Right. Right. Right.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, you don't. When you know better, you do better, right? And
Right.
uh-huh.
And I think what Laura had touched on and you had touched on is that toxic burden. And it's like, having a Big Mac once a week when you're eating, 90% good, you're exercising, you're, eating, whole foods and you're doing all that stuff and you have that one meal once a week. Okay. But if you're eating ultra processed foods and you're
Hmm.
not exercising and you know like you're constantly under stress and all these different things, your toxic load just keeps building up. And I know 100% that's what happened to me, years ago. My body was just like, we're
Yeah.
done. Like, we need a change or
Hmm.
something bad's going to happen. And it was like, you know, Laura had said, your body whispers, then it yells, and then it screams. And my body
Hmm.
was screaming, like, change, we need change. And I think that if people could just make small little changes, and give your body what you need. Go to
Hmm.
nutrition response testing.
Hmm.
See what your body is lacking. Give those
Hmm.
things to your body. Um, a lot of these chronic issues would be less because we're treating ourselves in a loving way. Um,
Hmm.
and so, you said you were a nurse, and so what was the transition? Like, what led you to get into this career path?
Well, I was introduced, I took my daughter there. She was having some health issues, and I was, at my wit's end, and someone said you should try nutrition response testing. And that was my introduction. And I was very, I don't want to say, I still have respect for the profession,
Mhm.
right? So I don't want to say indoctrinated, but I don't know another word. But I was very much like, okay, this is what the studies say. This is what, very, very much know. And so when I went to see the muscle, when a skeptic comes in the office, I am all in for it because I'm like,
Right,
I know. And that I'm like,
right,
if just stick with, and so many people. One of my most favorite clients, he and his wife come in. He's an auto mechanic, and he was one of the biggest skeptics when they first started coming, and now he won't not come. Like, even
right,
if he's feeling better, like he keeps coming because he's had such um life-changing
right,
results. Hmm.
right.
Um, I forgot the question. Oh,
Well, how you got into the career. So you took
oh, and so
and then you get introduced to this and you were skeptical at first, like, what is this kind of like is woo-woo stuff?
yeah, and so I got really interested. And at Keely, who owns the practice at that time, she would do these workshops every so often, and I would go, and then I would meet other people
Right.
who had like all of these other, things, and we would talk about it and really interested. And then this is when I'm going to talk about Naturally Radiant. That's where I work.
Yeah.
So Keely, my the owner, she at that time she worked out of her basement.
Wow.
right? She had, so on our first, when I first took my daughter there, it's like you pull, there were no signs.
Right.
You pull in, you're
Right.
like going through this backyard. You're like, I
Right.
hope this is the right house, right? But
That's so funny.
so then one night Keely was like, she knew I was really interested because I was, always picking her brain and asking
Mhm.
questions, and she said, "Would you like to be my office manager?" And so we joke now because I was the worst office manager there ever was. She's like, I was like, I have got to get her trained to be a practitioner because this is not, because you know how I am. I'm like,
And honestly, no disrespect, but you as an office manager just cracks me.
none taken, none taken. This is no one, anyone who knows me, this is not a surprise, right? Because
Not your, that is not your career path.
that's not my career path. And not, yeah, when you talk about Amy, who is the office manager now, she's born for it. Like
Right.
she's attention to detail and can, but anyway,
Right.
so I forgot. Yeah, that's the funny part of the story of
Right.
my journey. So I decided to at first, because nursing school about killed me.
Right.
So I was like, I do not want to go to school again.
Well, how old
But
were your girls when you went to nursing school? Because
they were little,
yeah, they were
and
little, so
I
you
was,
had, yeah.
yeah, it was a lot. And
Right.
but the thing about schooling for this, I was able to do so much online, and
Mhm.
the program has changed now. So
Right.
yeah, it's a whole different thing. And then we would go to Clearwater, Florida, and do drills, is what they
Okay.
call it, to make sure that we had our skills. So
Right.
it wasn't, and then it was also like not really pass or fail. You worked until like you mastered it,
Right. Right.
right? And then I was so fortunate because when I came back to work, it was just me and Keely, and I had, access to her with my client, with my
Right.
clients, because it is a, because you have to get like the muscle has to lock, and you have to, there's these little things that you have to practice, practice, practice,
Mhm.
practice, right? And plus you're learning about all these supplements and what they're for, and
Mhm.
it's a whole lot
Right.
initially. Where now, I'm 6 years in.
Right.
So now it's like sometimes I'm like, it feels mindless, but what it took me to get to this
Right.
part was
Well,
was
you know what? I find it so fascinating, especially with someone like you that went to, nursing school and then on top of that have these skills. So you have a really good understanding of the body and like a functional medicine doctor, because a lot of people look like hear that word or like a naturopathic doctor, like they have the knowledge of the medical part of it and a functional medicine doctor has medical schooling and on top of that went to school even longer to learn the root cause medicine. And so, when I first started this journey, all of it was woo woo to me. I'm like, what are you
oh yeah, I
talking
get
about?
all of
Like,
that. Yeah.
and I remember clearly being at the point where I'm on 5 different medications. This was back in 2019. 2018 got really sick. Into 2019, I lost 25 pounds. I was dropping to the floor in pain. I was on like all these things, and no one could figure out what was going on. And someone recommended this functional nutritionist. And I'm like, what in the world can this person do for me? And I sent him all of my blood work, all of the tests that I had. I had MRIs, I had CAT scan, I had all this stuff. And in 15 minutes, he could tell that my organs were starting to, were struggling and my liver was in danger of shutting down.
Hmm.
And it was like, why didn't anybody catch this? Like it was So it was a learning process. And so it's not that it's woo-woo, it's just that people don't know about it or they don't know enough about it.
Well, it is very different. I
It
was
is
at a
different.
wedding one time, and one of my clients introduced me as her witch doctor.
Oh
I get jokes like that all the time, but there, I
no.
mean, I was like, you could
Right.
joke about that with just me, but don't introduce me
Don't say
like
that,
that. Yeah.
please.
But I mean, there is science behind this.
Right.
There is if anyone's interested, I can get like the studies and
Right.
a more detailed scientific explanation. I
Right.
was talking to Missy about it before, and we were like, that's going to get lost, and
Right.
it's a lot, but.
Well, you can get lost in the studies. So I used to read medical journals and studies because I was trying to learn more about what was going on in my body.
Uh-huh.
And I would sit and talk to Steve, and he's like, huh?
Right.
Like, so unless you're
So
interested in it, but there's the science to back this is out there. And the evidence that it works is out there. Like you have so many success
oh my
stories,
gosh.
patients. Like some of the things that you have told me about your patients, like it's amazing. Like it's
I
really amazing.
I know, would you like me to give some examples of
Yes,
some
please.
success stories?
Yeah, as long as you're able to share. Yeah,
Yeah, I won't give
specifics. Yeah.
yeah, details or names, but one of them is he came to me in between so he had been sick. His mom actually started homeschooling him because he was missing so many days of school, but like the doctor, it was just like this general, like he just wasn't well. Do you know what I
Right.
mean? And he was missing a lot of days at school, but there was nothing really wrong.
Right.
And so then he hit a wall and then he stopped, like he didn't want to eat and he didn't want to, um, like it got bad. So
Right.
she took him to his primary care and they sent him to obviously to a specialist. But the wait for a specialist, I mean, you think like this kid is sick. Like,
Right.
they did enough to make sure like he wasn't going to die tomorrow, right? And then
Right.
they're like,
Right.
okay, well, it's going to be 2 months or whatever. So
Right.
someone recommended that she bring him into the office.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll never forget like the first time I met them. He had these dark circles under his eyes. His mom was talking about how he has no energy, how all he says is he's tired all the time. She's telling me he's got tears coming down his face.
Oh gosh.
So, so I tested him, did what his buddy said, and then they came back. He looked a little better.
Hmm.
I think I probably brought him back. Like your visits, how often you come back kind of depends on what we find. So I think I brought him back in a week.
Right.
Well, then he comes back. He's like showing me this dance, and he's like, and he's really funny. He'll be like, how long is this going to take? About 20 minutes. And then he would time me.
Like, hurry up.
So anyway, he steadily got better, got better, and then they went to the specialist, and um, she was asked the mom, she's like, "What did you do?" And so the mom said she was really nervous about telling the doctor, and she was like, "Well, I, went to this place," and the doctor was
Right.
like, "Look." He's doing so much better. Just keep
Right.
doing what you're doing. So I saw him just this past week and he's grown, I don't know how many inches. He's full, like you can just
Oh,
tell,
that's
like yeah,
amazing.
that he's growing. And what a he gave me a Valentine and
Oh,
it said thank you for loving me and giving me medicine.
that's amazing.
I know. And let's see. And then I had another little boy come in. My schedule was like full for a couple. It ebbs and flows, right? So,
Right.
and the receptionist comes back and she is like, Karen, you've got to see this little boy. She's like,
Oh,
I know you don't have space for a new client, but this, and I was like, and then she's like, he's in a wheelchair.
Oh my.
and he got so sick and his poor mother. And I was like, all right, like, and so I just did what his body said.
Mhm.
And and he was, I mean, he hasn't always been in a wheelchair.
Right.
He had had like leg pain, and then he got bit by a bunch of ticks and
Mhm.
triggers, and then he was on an antibiotic, and then his body just
Right.
and all this testing couldn't really find anything wrong. He came in. I just did what his body said, and I think his third visit, he walked through the front door.
Gosh.
I know. And his and the she's so she's yeah, she was like, I mean, we were all just
Oh my
you
God.
know. And look, there are things that, we can help the body, but we're not God,
Right.
right? I mean, we've had some heartbreaks
Right.
through the years of folks that it's, definitely am a vessel, but God is in charge of,
Right. Right.
of these things. Hmm.
Right. And I think it's so important that if your doctor gets upset, if your regular doctor gets upset that you are looking at every single option for healing, that is not a doctor. That is not a good doctor. If they don't have an answer and they're clueless as to how to help you, and they're not supportive of bringing in all aspects of healing, that
Hmm.
means nutrition, that means supplements, whatever. It should be a partnership to
Hmm.
try to heal the patient. um, if you don't have that, then you need to maybe find a new doctor. I am so grateful that I have that right now, and that they actually work together and they have conversations.
Hmm.
Um, because, and you can also have somebody that's in your field that's totally against mainstream medicine. And it's got to be a partnership on both ends. It can't be either or, because sometimes you need a
Hmm.
medication or you need a therapy or
Hmm.
something like that that you can only get through a regular doctor.
Right.
But it definitely needs to be a partnership between both of them.
For sure. For sure. And the really cool thing, my light's blinking. I apologize
That's
if you can see
okay. I
that.
don't tell, I
Okay. I'm
can't
like,
tell.
every time it does it, I feel like I'm getting shocked. I had a client come in, and she said, like, the beautiful thing is that our office is getting a reputation in the community,
Mhm.
and even the medical community. And I had a client come in, and she said that her doctor said, she told her she was coming, and that she was seeing me, and she says, just do whatever Karen says.
Ah,
I don't even know. I was like, who is it? I didn't even
wow.
recognize the name. Um, so like that is the a very high compliment,
Right,
and so I was thinking I need to check with that client because I want to reach out to
right.
the
And I
doctor.
think,
And
I agree with doctors saying, like, don't get your information off of just Instagram or Google or anything like
Mhm.
that. But I feel like there has got to be some, what is it called, like a partnership or some integration where these worlds need to come together.
I think it is happening more
It's
and more.
starting
I
to.
do. I mean, you do hear the stories of um occasionally where, someone had like crazy high liver enzymes. They came in,
Mhm.
we were able to work with their body.
Right,
They leveled out, and their doctor's like, we don't, you
right.
know what I mean? Like, there is that. But I do think that more and more we're getting more support from
Yeah.
traditional, and everybody's frustrated.
Yeah.
We're frustrated with the pharmaceuticals and the side effects, and when you need them, you need them.
Right.
But it's
But
yeah.
obviously there's a lot of work to be done when there's just so many sick people. There's just so, I mean, the fact that your office is as busy as it is, it's
Hmm.
great that you're able to help that many people, but also in the same sense, it's like there's just so many sick people out there,
And young people.
young
I
people,
mean, young people, that's um yeah,
right?
young people. So yeah, I
And I
mean,
think that's where it's such, like you said, it's so great that you have people like you with the nutrition response testing, and then you have people like Laura that can work on, and then together you're working on the full body where you're treating nervous systems and you're giving the body what it needs, and it's like this whole full body experience, and you're not just looking at one symptom and saying, oh, it's just your liver's not functioning properly, or you just, whatever, it's just this whole body experience where, it's all connected when
right,
you.
everything I know, and you know what? So part like you're right, it is having the experience, the background and being a nurse and knowing those
Mhm.
things is helpful, but sometimes like it was so hard for me to because in the medical field we have a specialist for everything. A
Right.
neurologist, a gynecologist, a pulmonologist,
Mhm.
cardio, all of the things. And like it was the heart, it's so funny now because like it was it was like a stretch for me to think how
Mhm.
how everything was connected and everything affects everything,
Right.
right? Like someone comes in and they have, I mean, because we see sick clients too, right?
Hmm.
They have a horrible upper respiratory system, but it's their adrenal that's stressed. And then
Mm.
I'm testing the adrenal and there's virus popping up and I'm like, what the heck is, I don't understand.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's because everything is connected and the adrenal is stressed because the body's working so hard or whatever. It could be the spleen, it could be
Right.
every thyroid, it can, it's, yeah,
Right.
anything can affect anything and any organ can be stressed from whatever.
Right.
So,
And
yeah.
I think it's so, like, to me, when you look at the human body and the way that it works, and I get, I really wish I would have went to like some kind of schooling because I have so much information in my brain
It's
about
not
this
too
stuff.
late. It's
I
not too
know,
late. Yeah.
I know, I know, but
You have your hands full right now
know.
with this podcast.
I'm trying to keep three cats on three different medications straight. I can't even and take care of myself. Like, but when I look at the human body and I see it all connected, and I do I go to the chiropractor and we do different body work and like pressure points, and we do laser therapy and we do the vagus nerve reset, and you see how the body works and how it's all connected,
Hmm.
and you realize like God really designed us in such a fat, like like the way that the human body is made is so fascinating, and how one thing is connected to the other, and we've overcomplicated it so much
Hmm.
by trying to do too much, and stress and foods and all these things. It's so simple. It's just so simple, and we overcomplicate it. And so to me, this is what I want to ask you, is that you do this work, and how does your faith come in? And I know the answer to this because we've talked about it, but like, tell everybody, how that plays into your day-to-day life.
Yeah, well, I mean, this work is a big responsibility,
Mm,
right? I mean, I have people that sit in my office and say, if you can't help me, I don't know what I'm going to do.
mm,
And a mother brings a child in a wheelchair, and you're like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if this is going to help, right?
Right.
So
I hope
I'm,
I can. See, that makes me cry.
oh God, you know what? You wouldn't.
About
I
it.
know it is, and you know, and she's sitting and it's like you're, and I'm looking at her like, oh, and I'm just like, God, I need you to help me. Um,
Right.
but you know, I have to um kind of separate myself from, like, I don't take the successes to heart, and I don't take
Right.
the or the things that don't get better to heart. Like,
Right.
I realize, um, again, I'm just a vessel, and I'm doing what I'm called to do.
Right.
And before I go to work, I definitely you know, I don't fill myself with what's going on in the news. I don't fill my none of that,
Right.
because I can't get caught up in what's going on in this world
Mm,
and focus on the individuals that are coming in my office. I
right.
cannot let my energy go to anything
Right.
except what's going on in front of me.
Can I
Um,
just touch on that for a quick second? Because I think that's so important to expand on that. I think I think people, when you say something like that, people can take it one or two ways. When you say, I can't let the world in, like I can't focus on that stuff. It's not that you don't care, it's that your body literally cannot handle your nervous system cannot handle the stress of knowing every single thing that is going on in the world, right? And it's not that you don't care, it's not that you don't know, but when you live in a state and your body has been under stress, or you're trying to focus on treating patients and you bring that into the office, you can't function properly. And
Look, this is, you know what I focus on? I focus on how big my God is and what my God can do.
and
And
there's always going to be another tragedy.
I
And
can't
there's
help it.
always
I
going to be
can't
one
help
more
it
thing for
about all this evil in the world.
right.
I can't help it. And I don't want to,
Right.
and I don't want to hear about it. There is nothing I can do. There's
Right.
nothing I can do to change the evil in the world.
Right.
What am I going to do? Get on Facebook and be like, you
Mhm.
know, blah, blah, you know, who cares? It's just gonna, I don't want to
Right.
cause division. There's no need for it. I
Yeah.
need to believe that my God is going to work through me
Right.
to help this kid or this woman
Right.
that's been to every doctor
Right.
or whatever the thing is, right?
And
I
that's your
have
mission field.
right, and I have to keep myself grounded
Right.
for when things don't work out.
Right.
Or when someone, you know, not everybody, you know, some people, you know, there is criticism sometimes, and there is, and I have to be able to handle that. I can't let one or two um negative things take away from all the good things that have happened,
Right.
right? And
Right.
that's what I have to focus on.
Right.
In between, so a client comes in, I give them my full attention.
Mm-hmm.
I do whatever I need to do.
Right.
They leave. I take the sheet off the bed. I put it in the laundry room. I go and wash my hands. I say a little prayer for them.
Mm-hmm.
I go get my next sheet and I start thinking about my next client that's
Right.
coming and
Right.
saying a little prayer, God, give me what I need.
And
Right?
that is you working in your community. Like that
Yeah.
is actually you out in the world doing something for your community and for other people. That is a beautiful gift.
Well, I look at
Yeah.
it like this, like God, and I think, and Laura has said this about her clients too, like we all have a divine destiny,
Right.
right?
Right.
And you know, we can't do it when we're sick and when we're fatigued and we don't have the
Right.
energy.
Right.
And there is nothing more fulfilling to me than when someone walks in my office and I can see, because you can see when they've turned the corner,
Right.
they just got a certain thing.
Right.
And one of my most recent clients, she's very, very active in the community.
Hmm.
And very fatigued, very like came and for I mean it's been going on for a long time and
Right.
she's an extrovert and she's like this is killing me. I
Mm,
can't, you know. And she had like three big events and she was this past weekend when and then I saw her this weekend she's like and I was fine and I went to the store afterwards and I made,
that's
yeah,
amazing.
I cooked and I this and I that.
Right.
And so when she left, I said, okay, well, take it easy. And she said, I don't want to take it easy.
I don't want to. I've been taking it easy. I'm ready to get out in the world.
Right.
Right.
And the reward from that. And I know that she's out there touching lives,
Mm,
right?
right.
And, or just getting a mom feeling better or a dad feeling better or a child,
Right.
not wetting the bed anymore
Right.
or behavioral issues or,
Right.
these like getting like I'm in my little room sending these people out into the world to do what
Right.
God designed them to do, to live their
Right.
life to the fullest. That's why Jesus came, so we could live our life to the fullest.
Right.
So, I mean, that's what encourages me. And
Like
there's
you're
nothing
living
better,
in your purpose. You're
right? There's
living in
nothing
what God
better
designed you to do.
right, right. And there's nothing better than feeling good and having energy. Like that is priceless to me. Tim
Mhm.
jokes around. He's like, if anybody broke into your house, he's like, your most valuable things are
Right.
your supplements and your food.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, that's what is worth the most to me. Like
Right.
it's worth it because I have energy. My
Right.
body doesn't hurt.
Right.
It's worth it to me.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that is the thing is that you have to choose where you put your money in. And we do. Like we put our money into good quality food. The amount of money that I spend on supplements that I'm still on to help me live, and function. And I'm not quite there yet. And I pray that that's coming again because I felt really good for a long time and then the mold hit. I pray that I'm getting there, but I know like I'm not out buying, fancy clothes and nice purses. This is where I'm at. This is the focus. And sometimes you have to make sacrifices and there's ways and this is something that I would love to do one day, is make this type of healthcare and and nutritious food available
Hmm.
to everybody that
Hmm.
because this it is expensive. It does get to the point that you're like you have to pick and choose what you do because it's out of pocket. But when you've tried everything else and nothing works and you have seen other people have success and it works for you, you sacrifice and you make it work. Um, you know, beyond the physical symptoms that people have, like beyond like they come in and they like, they start feeling good. What changes have you seen in people? Be like you said you could see when they turn the corner. Like it's
They
something
like
in
a
their
zest,
eyes.
right? Like a zest for life. Like they
Right.
are, they'll what is the one word that I think is it they'll say I feel lighter. Like that's something they say like I don't know how to explain it. I just feel lighter.
Right.
Their brain is unwinding from like anxiety
Right.
and we're getting that gut balanced, which
Mhm.
plays so much into the brain, the immune challenges that's causing brain inflammation. And
Right.
then we have like some, for folks that are dealing with like depression and things like that, we have some natural things that we can do.
Right.
Um, um, yeah, I mean, the energy, and I'm telling you, they have a look. When I mean, I don't even have to talk to them most of the time. I can tell. Like I can
Right.
tell by looking at them. And then,
Right.
as a matter of fact, the lady to this week that said, I don't want to take it easy.
Right. I don't want to take it
She,
easy.
right,
Right.
she was around a bunch of other people at these events, and she said so many people were like, "What are you doing? You
Mm,
look so good." So
right.
she's telling them what she's doing,
Right.
right? And she's,
Right.
and most of my clients are referrals.
Right.
I mean, most of them are.
Right.
Um, so yeah.
Right. And I mean, living with chronic issues, sometimes for years, can play such a mental toll on people. And so when you have just a little taste of feeling like yourself,
Uh-huh.
it gives you hope. And I feel like that is something that is a priceless gift that you're giving to people because they have chased every avenue, they have gone down every
Mm-hmm.
road, and they have gone and keep going around in circles. And
Mm-hmm.
like sometimes you might be that very last hope.
So often, because
Yeah.
it is, like you said, um, it's not covered by insurance.
Right.
So often it's desperation.
That's
That's what brings them to the office.
right.
And then I always have the talk with my clients like I need you to keep your appointments,
Mm-hmm.
right? I need you not to add things in between visits
Mm-hmm.
because they'll be having this strange symptom and they're like, "Oh, by the way, I started taking this."
Right. No.
Or they'll say, "I think this was messing with me, so I just stopped."
Right.
And then meanwhile, it's like opening up drainage pathways for something else we're working on. And then they're like, "And I have this rash." And I'm like, "Because your liver's clogged up because you didn't take
Right.
this."
Right.
And
And you can also have it's the Herx reaction to things where, and I know in your practice it does cut that down because you're actually not only giving them what they need, but the dosage that they need.
well, and so yes, and then so with nutrition response to like there's lots of kinesiology, right? It's
Hmm.
been around for a long time. There's lots of ways to muscle test. One of the many things that sets nutrition response testing apart is when we get to the end. So I've done the testing. These supplements are on the body, right? So you've tested for it this way. Then I'm going to touch you on your vagus nerve on this side, and I'm going to hold your arm. I'm going to count to 10. If your arm goes down before 10, that tells me that your body cannot handle, even though this way you tested for it, right? When we
Right.
went through the thing, your body's saying, I'm not quite ready for that, and I pull things off until you are. If I were to send that client home,
Right.
they're not going to feel good
Right.
because it's going to overwhelm the body.
Right.
So, also with nutrition response testing, before we start, we have a series of testing that we do, opening and closing the eyes, testing between the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system to make sure that the nervous system is open for that. And I mean, yeah, it's really, it, I'm not going to say it doesn't happen that occasionally someone will have a issue where they're detoxing too fast, but it is rare.
Right, right.
Hmm.
I mean,
It
it
is rare.
happened to me because I didn't do muscle testing and I had that reaction with certain supplements, and I'm like, oh, this isn't working,
And
or
right, and
this
you're
is
very
too much.
sensitive,
Right. And
right?
I always say, whatever the dose is, cut it in half or
Hmm.
quarter it for me because I will have a reaction.
Hmm.
So I remember when this was last year, and this was before I found out about the mold illness, and I had started seeing my new doctor, and we were running in circles trying to I was trying to figure out what was going on with my body. I was at the point where I was like, okay, this is it. This is the way my life is going to be. So, and I started seeing a new doctor, and she's like, I want to send you to someone. And I've had a lot of success with him with my patients for people that, like you, we just can't figure out what's going on. He is a functional practitioner. And I was like, I'm not doing this. I have seen everybody. I was just like, I'm done. Like, what are they going to do that's any different than anybody else, right? And I was giving up. And he was the last one that I saw, and he was the one
Right.
that figured out he saw me, like I went to him and he looked at me and he was going over all the tests and everything that I had over like the 4 years. And that's when we did further testing. So, and that was a long process. Like that was several different health issues over several years, mold illness being the longest. And so I mean, I was at the end of my rope. Like I was at that point where I was just like, if you don't help me, I don't know what's going to
Hmm.
happen. Like I don't know. So I know personally people who are in that boat who have not gone the alternative route and found someone that is like what you do or a functional doctor. Um, you know, just somebody that's just sick and tired. And I can so relate to people like that
Hmm.
are feeling discouraged or just stuck in their health journey. And, what would you want to say to them? Like, what is some advice?
I'd say, please don't give up.
Hmm.
There is hope. And, you know, nutrition response testing isn't for everyone, but
Right,
there is something, right?
right,
Don't give up. Don't give up. Give us a chance. I mean, we, I wish I could like tell you every story of people whose lives have changed. I mean, I had one woman who came in and she, like years ago, she had been to Mexico
mm,
and she had not felt right since
right,
and got sicker and sicker and sicker. Nothing's wrong, nothing's wrong, nothing's wrong, according to her labs and all of that. She
mhm,
comes in. It was a little bit of a journey, but she started feeling better, but it was probably about a year before she was all the way better, right?
right.
And she still sees, even when she's feeling good, she pops in because she's like, I don't want, I don't
Don't
ever
ever
want
want to go
that to
back there,
happen
right?
again. Yeah. And she had tried, yeah. And like, and yeah, again, she's this amazing woman living this full life now. She
Mhm.
has like her own little farm and it's like,
Right,
um, yeah, there's, testimony after testimony of people who have healed
right.
and, you
So it's
know,
just not giving up. It's honestly
don't give
trying
up. Don't give up.
every
You're worth it. You are worth feeling good. You're worth having energy.
right. So what does living life to the fullest look like to you? What does that look like? And be honest, because honestly, I know that there are so many people out there that want a quick fix. And like I said, I know you and I were both in that camp for a long time. And then you learn that that isn't always the answer, a quick fix. It takes work.
Right.
And I read something the other day. It's like everybody wants an answer until the answer is discipline. And it's like, ooh, that's convicting, isn't
Right.
it?
I know. Yeah,
When
because
you can't just eat you every day have a sugary drink or, you
yeah.
have to make that choice. So, what does that look like to you living life to the fullest?
Well, I think so. I mean, I've been at this for years, so my diet is pretty clean. Um,
Right.
I do, let's see, I probably do 80/20,
Yeah.
maybe. I may not even do 20. I mean, No, I probably do on date nights. I probably
Right.
sorry. And then my diet's pretty clean. I mean, I take good care of myself,
Right.
right? But and it's not a sacrifice anymore. You
Mm,
know, it used to feel like I was giving things up, but it's not a
right.
sacrifice anymore.
Right.
There's nothing more valuable than energy. There's
Right.
nothing more valuable than not having brain fog. But I say that I still get tired.
Oh
One time
yeah.
I got up in the middle of the night and I felt sick and I'm like, instead of like using I'm like, I'm taking this herb and that herb. And then the next morning I was like, something's wrong. I gave myself this big rash
Oh no.
because because I didn't open up my liver pathways, I guess. Well, I guess
Right.
that's what happened. And I had to work that day and I had like four new clients and I'm like, I cannot see new client. I mean, I had like this, it was
Oh
like,
no.
yeah. And so I'm taking like all of the things to open up my detox pathways so I can,
Right.
those things happen to me too. And I still, but I
Right.
don't know, like just like enjoying my life and um um I I want to be like living for the Lord, but I guess that's what I mean. Like
Right.
just doing
Well,
like
I
trying to
think
like
that
God, what is the next thing? What do you okay,
right.
what do you want? If I have this idea, if it's not meant to be, close the door. If it is,
Mhm.
I mean, and then look at the podcast, what happened?
Right.
Like he opened the door and he's like threw
Pushed
us
us
through
right
it.
through.
Yeah.
Get in
And
there. Start talking.
yeah,
Right.
and and then the people that he brings in my office and some of the converse, I mean, sometimes we have straight up church in the office.
Mm.
Like, I know that's not what you asked me, but it's like
No, but I mean,
I
I think it's a lot about faith, but I also think that the changes that you've made over the past few years and like you've
hmm
gradually changed your mindset, like I see and it like your face has like lights up more.
hmm
I can tell that you have more energy and you're doing things and living life to the fullest.
hmm
And if you don't mind, do you mind telling people how old you are? Is that
I'm
okay?
56. Yeah, I don't
56.
I
So
that
like there are a lot of women that are now like I just turned 50 last year and it's the whole menopause thing and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like, you know, in your world and in your career, you can address all those things. And I see what a benefit it has been for you working in the office that you work in, being
hmm
exposed to the practitioners that you work around,
hmm
and being able to balance those things when something comes up that, it's not like you're just, oh, I eat great and I exercise, and it's that you're addressing things as they come up in a way that
Oh yeah,
before
I
it
still have things
becomes
pop
an
up.
issue.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
hmm
So I think that's so important for people to understand like it is a process. Like it is not something that happens overnight. It's daily choices that add up.
Yes, it is. Yep.
Yeah,
hmm
so for the people that feel stuck or discouraged or like they're in this health journey, and a lot of women our age are feeling that right now, like they're chasing, gosh, the amount of information that's out there right now about menopause is just
hmm
like,
Well,
oh my gosh.
I'm hesitant to say, I'm not, I would, I think that everybody should research estrogen dominance from a functional medicine point of view
Hmm.
and how we can actually be estrogen dominant postmenopausal, even though it doesn't sh because it's stored in our fat.
Right.
So there is a line of thinking that if you have fat on your body, that you are estrogen dominant,
Mm,
and that um, we really shouldn't be adding it
right.
to our bodies. There's a whole thing, and we can in the office we can work with that and figure it out. And
Right.
That's one of the things. I mean, like you said, why did you ask me how old I was?
Well, no,
Were you
because
gonna
I
say
think
because
it's
I look
important.
younger?
I
Oh,
think you look younger than 56, but
oh,
I
okay.
also think
Well, I
like
was like, is that why? Because I was gonna say because
no, and I
because I
asked,
balance my hormones and I'm
right,
actually um not that I'm aging backwards, but it's definitely changes
right,
the effects of menopause because I'm
right.
postmenopausal.
Right. And I've seen the changes in my body since I've like in just with all the health issues, but also entering, because I'm in menopause now and the changes in my body and it's like, whoa. And it's a it's a mental load because my weight has always fluctuated through my life, but I've always kind of maintained. I loved my skin. I loved my hair, and my weight was easier to balance out. And now it's just like I feel like I'm a completely different person. And
Mhm.
so, that's a whole nother topic, menopause, because I feel like we could talk about that forever. But
Yeah. Well,
I feel like, you know, you being 56 and like you're just an example of what if if you're consistent and you address the things as they pop up, things can your life you can live a full life
well,
at
what I do want to say is I get very frustrated when people are like blame things on age
right, right.
because we can change that. We can we can work on our inflammation. We
Mhm.
can, do you know what I mean? Like there, if age, or when a doctor says, well, you're at that age.
Hmm.
Well, we have 84-year-olds like running around the blocks and stuff. So like clearly.
Well,
So yeah, I'm never gonna believe that for myself or
right.
for my clients.
And the people that I focus on that I use as inspiration now are the people that are a lot of women that are a lot older than me that
Hmm.
are, at the gym or they're, doing the
I'm not at
things.
the gym and I
I
could do
mean,
better
you know
working
what I
out.
mean, not
Yeah.
at the gym, but just like,
I
they're
have my
building,
walking pad and my weights. Yeah.
right. They're building muscle to protect their bones.
Yes.
They're not doing it to look great. They're doing it for longevity,
Longevity and energy. And also,
longevity
I
and
think, Missy,
energy.
I think, thank you for bringing that up because when I look in the mirror or when let's say things are getting snug or whatever, when I start thinking about the scale, like I had to put my scale away recently. When I start thinking about the scale, it's not a healthy thing for me. And
Mm,
you know, but when I can think about longevity and energy,
right.
and this is why I'm doing this, longevity and energy. And look, I do like looking younger. So
Right. I mean, we all want to feel
I'm
good in
not
our own
gonna
body,
I'm
right?
not gonna yet. And so like
Right.
there's that piece. But longevity, energy, and then do what I need to do for that, and then other
Mhm.
things follow behind.
It's a mind shift. I mean, especially for women our age, like I said, that grew up with the 80s and 90s diet
Stepping on
fads.
the scale, how much weight can I lose? How,
Right.
yeah.
Right. And so changing it to, thinking, okay, well, I want to be able to pick up my grandkids,
Mhm.
and have the energy to, babysit, or I want to go on vacations and walk and not be in pain or out of shape or not out of shape, but out of breath and all those types of things. Like that is the goal, right? Like to me, that
Right.
is the goal is like in your 60s, 70s, and 80s, still being active. And like you said, age is not, it should never be an excuse. It should never be a reason just to
Mhm.
stop. And I feel like, it that's changing. Obviously, it is changing, but there are some people that still have that mindset. And I don't think it's ever too late. And That's
It's
my
never
biggest
too late. Our
thing.
body, God made our bodies amazing and
Mhm.
we can turn things around.
Right.
I don't, if you're watching this and you're 50, 60, 70, it's never too late to make good choices and turn things around. Never, ever, ever.
And I will say this. So I've had to adjust a lot over the years. I now have a back issue that causes a lot of hip pain. It causes a lot of back pain. It's not something that will, go away unless I have surgery, but I do balance it out. So it is a change in my mind that I'm not able to do certain things, but I'm able to do things. Like I'm able to still do things and I know that the what the ultimate goal is. And that's what I'm
Slow
moving
and steady, progress, not
slow and steady.
perfection.
It's not like, oh, in 8 weeks I'm gonna be here. It is
Right.
every day making that choice to do something. And
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna benefit myself. So be kind to yourself.
Yes, be kind to
Just be
yourself.
kind to yourself. Don't look in the mirror like and like we were talking about when we watched the podcast back and we're like, oh my gosh, is that what I look like? You know, but everybody we know sees us that way and we make those faces when we're like zoning out or whatever. And they still talk to us. They don't call us out on it. And so
I'm like, I watch it. I'm like, I'm surprised I have any friends. Just
it's
kidding.
just me and Karen over here talking to ourselves. But it's true and it's like just, in all things. And like that's definitely something that we should definitely leave you with is that, take obviously make the hard choices, take care of yourself, be disciplined, do those things, don't give up on yourself, but be kind to yourself too. And,
Mhm.
God made us just who we are. God made us this way and who we are. And you know, I think that I think you should leave us with any parting words that
Yes.
you wanna leave us with. I think we
Yeah,
covered
I just want to,
everything.
we're going to circle back to where we started.
Right.
And if anyone is interested in nutrition response testing, let me know, especially if you're in the Fredericksburg area. I have a client in Colorado that comes to see me when she sees her daughter.
I love that.
I know I had a client in North Carolina that would come see me when she would visit. But yeah, if this sounds like something that you feel like could help you or someone you care about, let us know. We'll
Right.
be
Because
happy to.
Fredericksburg is less than a 2 hour drive from Baltimore, right? Like, is it over 2 hours?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Well, it
like
depends. I don't know. Yeah, it's like 2 hours. Yeah.
yeah. So,
hmm
and it's not, and do you do
hmm
virtual appointments like after you do your first initial appointment?
we're starting that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what else was it? Oh, and then I do try to work at least one Saturday a month.
Okay.
So for folks that, would be traveling or that kind of thing. But
Awesome.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
that's it.
thank you for sharing all this. I think it's such a great, I think I love what you do. I know that you enjoy working with people and helping people in this way.
I
And
can't
I think
imagine doing anything else. I really can't.
I
This,
love
yeah.
that.
hmm
I love that. So thank you for sharing. And
Thank you.
this is episode 8, and we will
I
be
know.
back.
I hope it made sense, like we
I,
always say.
I know every
Because we
time
get to
we're
the end and
like,
we're like,
well, I think we sit here and have this conversation, and I feel like we're like having a conversation with everybody that's watching too. So
yes.
it's like, I hope this makes sense to people.
One of someone had suggested that we go live so other people can join in. And if we could ever figure that out, we'll do it. Other than I know we could do like a Facebook Live or something, but
Right.
I don't know
That
how
would be so fun.
we'd have to I don't know how to do it, how we would do it, but we maybe on episode 20 or
Right.
50 or I don't know.
Yeah. And honestly, like we have bounced so many ideas around about getting people together too, which I would love to do some sort of like a retreat where we did, a lot of um, worship or faith-based work as well as health. And, that is just something that my little mind is working on. And
Missy
I
the planner. And then like me, you know how she said I'd be a terrible office manager. I'm like, tell
just let
me,
me know when
okay.
to show up.
Yeah, tell me what to do. Or I'll come up, I don't know. I
Right.
like it's a that's
I'll
like that's
plan it all. You just show up.
I'm like that's a lot, Missy. Yeah.
Yes, but I think that I think we both love people so much, and I think we love
Yeah.
having conversations with people, and just like, I love hearing people's stories. And so
Same.
I would just love to do something, and maybe we could do like a Zoom call, and I think we can do that and have a whole bunch of people
Oh.
on. I think we should do that. We'll get some feedback, and they can ask questions, and maybe episode 20 we'll do that.
Okay.
Or maybe
Let us,
10. Who
yeah, let
knows?
us know. I know. Let us know what you think, everyone.
Yeah,
Is
let
that
us know
something
if you
we
want to
do?
join in. I
Could
don't
be
know.
dangerous. Yeah.
Right? I don't know. It might go off the rails a little bit, but yeah. So, Karen, thank you so much for all
Thank you,
of that
Missy. Yeah.
information. I think if you want to reach out and ask Karen any questions about this,
Yes.
she'll be happy to answer.
Mhm.
And we will see you next week.
Yep. Mwah. Bye.
Bye.